And Bill Burton with Politics USA Action, Priorities USA Action.org is on the line. Senior strategist with Priorities USA Action, former deputy White House press secretary in President Obama's administration. And I see, Bill, that you used to work for where'd it go here?
Well, you name it.
Yeah,
Emanuel, it's John Kerry, Dick Gephardt, Thom Hartmann.
Yeah, it's remarkable. You've been around this town for quite a while. Anyhow, welcome to the program. The Obama plan to consolidate student loans. There's one of the talking points on the right is that the 99 movement is made up largely of young people and students who are unemployed. I get a lot of calls into this program from people saying, I was just at the 99 movement for this little town or that little town or even some big towns. And they're saying, there's a lot of people there in their 50s and 60s. There's a lot of boomers there as well and 30s and 40s. But there really is a problem with student loans and young people in this country right now being wiped out economically before they've even started their first job.
Right. And you don't have to pitch a tent in Zuccotti Park or McPherson Square in D.C. in order to feel the kind of anxiety that those folks are demonstrating. It's about their student loans. It's about their mortgages. It's about jobs. It's a lot of the same things that people are feeling all across this country. And for the folks who have tried to say that they don't represent a broader sense of anxiety or anger out there, I think they're just wrong.
Yeah. Oh, it was Bill Luther, actually.
Bill Luther, yeah.
Bill's an old friend of mine. So, in any case, Priorities Action USA is, or prioritiesUSAAction.org is the website. You have put out an ad about this, and you're taking on this issue.
That's right.
Okay, tell us about it.
Well, what we wanted to do, and this is so we are two groups, just to educate folks who might not be familiar with us. One is Priorities USA Action, which is super PAC that's dedicated to making sure the president gets reelected, and then the other is Priorities USA. And that group is an organization that's dedicated to fighting for progressive values like education. And that's the group from which we actually did this ad today, because we wanted to make sure that tonight Republicans at the debate in Michigan have to talk about this radical right-wing budget that would drastically cut Pell Grants in order so that they can give more tax breaks to the wealthiest, more tax breaks to oil companies, and keep in place a system that is not working for the middle class.
Today in the Financial Times, the last page is the Lex column, which is kind of a summary column of the greatest minds of the Financial Times. And the top story, student loans, that they're going to hit $1 trillion level. And they know pundits call it a bubble, but another B word applies, boondoggle. And with American undergraduates amassing $25,000 in average debt and 10% default almost immediately, the burden is certainly real. The bottom line at the very end of the article, and of course this is the Financial Times of England, although they have more readers in the U.S. than they do in the U.K. because I think the Wall Street Journal, since Murdoch took it over, has turned into a rag. But in any case, they say at the very end, demanding more educational bang for the buck is academic. And they talk about, why have we not put this money to direct public education spending, which has been cut sharply? And I think this is a really important question. The right-wing agenda has been more for-profit schools and more corporate loans to students to turn them into basically debt slaves as soon as they graduate.
Right. And look at what happened when the president tried to change the system in order to make sure that all of the money that was being spent in the federal loan program went directly to students as opposed to the banks. Republicans lost their mind that the president would use executive authority to actually put college more in reach for more students and take all that money away from the banks, which are some of their biggest supporters. I mean, if you're talking just about what's the right thing to do for a government, where should your priorities be? It should be with students. But if you're talking about what's the best thing you can do to make our country more competitive globally as we look forward here, it's educating our workforce so that when we're competing against India and China and all the other countries in the world with emerging economies, that we have a real chance for our country to maintain the leading position that it's had for so long.
Well, how about just putting us on par with the other developed industrialized nations of the world, the European economies, for example, or, you point out the emerging one. I'd toss Brazil in there. I mean, in almost all of these countries, you can go to college for free or damn close to free if you have the intellectual capacity to do it. And if you are not suited for college, there are trade schools. And we've just, in 30 years since Reagan came in, I mean, he did this 40 years ago in California when he was governor of California. You had a college system there that dating back to Lincoln that had been, free education in California. He did away with that, saying, why should I pay students who are, why should I pay for the tuition of students who are going to protest my policies, right? I mean, he called them brats, spoiled brats. Right. That was Reagan's term. And then, as president, he brings in Bill Burton, and he starts this war on education. And now we've seen, the college tuition rates exploding through the roof. We've seen these for-profit colleges. We see these for-profit loans. And for the first, I think for the first time in the history of the United States, you've got people graduating from college with bigger debt than typically people used to graduate from college, buy a house and have.
No, that's right. That's right. And it starts you at such a disadvantage as you're trying to build a family, build a life in this country. It's harder to buy a house. It's harder to establish credit because you've got this big weight of these huge loans on you. And as college tuition has gone up and up and up, in the Bush administration, they did nothing to help more students go to college. The Pell Grant rate was basically flat throughout that time. President Obama tries to make college more affordable. Congress won't let him make it quite as affordable as he'd like it to, but he's still moving things in the right direction. But if we don't do this, if we price students out of going to college, it is going to hurt our country in the long term in very real, tangible ways as we lose competitiveness with the world.
Yeah, this is our most important infrastructure, our intellectual infrastructure, and we're not building it. In fact, if anything, we're putting all kinds of roadblocks in the way. Bill Burton, you're doing great work at Priorities USA and Priorities USA Action.org on both. Thanks so much for being with us, Bill.
Thanks for having me.